My name is Asher Dunsky, and I am excited to begin the Industry 4.0 showcase. And so, thank you for everyone who's joining, everyone who has joined. I'm going to quickly run through these slides. So, today we'll be having two sessions. A lot of the panel is for either one of the sessions, but hopefully, if people want to stay or the presentations are interesting enough, they'll stay for even longer. So what is Deep Tech Showcase? What are we trying to do? What's the vision? The vision is to help these companies that are developing cutting edge, bleeding edge technologies and bring them to the right people, the right places so they can commercialize and become mainstream technologies. A lot of the technologies that we see today in the market, even the technology we're using now, the internet, was actually developed by government programs. So it was developed by, the right people in the right places, putting things together and, figuring out the internet. Also, GPS is another notable government funded technology. So a lot of the things that we use in our day to day lives are relevant for these showcases. So hopefully, I mean, or maybe even already, some of the major technologies of tomorrow have presented on these showcases that we're attending today. So we've created this ecosystem for deep tech, which combines the startups with tech scouts that are both commercial and government, as well as investors. And we have events. So this is one of our events. We have an event every month. This one is Industry 4.0. The next one's going to be semiconductors and microelectronics. And then the one after that is aerospace and defense. So stay tuned. In addition to the showcase events, we also do guided introductions. So if you're on this call as an investor, and you or any other kind of stakeholder, honestly, and you see a company that's relevant for you and makes sense for you to speak with, let us know. We're always happy to make an introduction wherever we can. So as I mentioned earlier, microelectronics and then followed by aerospace and defense. Really quickly, I guess I'll give a quick shout out to our sponsor slash the company that backs us called Eagle Point Funding. Eagle Point Funding is a grant writing consultancy that focuses on SBIRs, STTRs, BAAs, and OTAs. If you would like to speak about that, and if it's relevant for you to talk about grant funding and what federal funding opportunities are out there, I believe Brian will be sending an email after the showcase with the link to talk to them. But that is our sponsoring company. Just a quick little thing there. And without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up to the panelists. I would love to hear a little bit about you guys, and then also, I guess, give us some facts that we would otherwise not know. Either the tech that you're interested in, or where you see Industry 4.0 or Industry 5.0. I've even heard of recently, where you see Industry 4.0 going. What's the next forefront of the technology? We're pretty open because we actually have, I believe Brian will stop me if I'm wrong, but I believe we have a couple good minutes to cover that. So in that case, we'll get started with, I think David hopped off and is gonna hop back on. So the next up is Alex. You want to introduce yourself, Alexander? Kasi? Let's see. And I can see that he's here. I'm not sure if he's ready. Okay, we'll come back to him. Han, do you want to go first?
Sure. My name is Han Ko. My company is USECO Group. It's always a pleasure to be part of this great program. We're investing in VC, and what's unique about us is that we're based out of USA, but we have office in all the way to Seoul, South Korea as well. And we also closely work with the European market as well. So looking forward to working with you, and good luck to those who are presenting today. Thank you.
Absolutely. Let's try one more time. Alex, do you want to quickly introduce yourself? Alex Cassie?
Guys, sorry about the audio. My name's Alex. I work for HEICO Corporation. We're a large publicly listed aerospace and defense company. Very acquisitive. We typically acquire 6 to 8 companies a year, some earlier stage, some more mature and later stage, really across the A&D ecosystem, and always looking to learn more about what's kind of on the forefront of technology. We're looking at various things right now, and I'm very curious to hear the presentations today. Thanks, Asher.
Absolutely. Pleasure to have you, Alex. Next up, we have Lindsay.
Yeah. Hi, Asher. Lindsay Aspergren. I'm a partner with NTT Venture Capital. We're a fund based in Menlo Park, California, that does early stage investing in a variety of technologies. And, as far as industry 4.0 goes, I think we're going to move from factory digitization to, basically AI native orchestration of all industrial work. And I think that the real kind of question is to avoid like stitch work and really get embedded in workflows and things like that. So, the world's changing in a very rapid pace. From our perspective, kind of Palantir-esque DNA is a good bet. And, if you can kind of then put it into some sort of BPO framework, maybe you have a flywheel in the end. So excited to hear different technologies here today and to be with you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that makes sense with the AI. I think there's a lot. The question is how it's going to end up being applied. Yeah, which I think we'll all have to see, right?
Right.
Yeah, cool. Perfect. Next up we have Marissa McGinnis. Marissa, you want to say hello?
Hi. Let's see, a fact that is unknown. I just finished a 5-week course on AI and vibe coding given by R42 Institute. I'm a full-time investor and I invest in healthcare, defense, gold, and real estate. And I'm pleased to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Pleasure to have you. Next up we have, and forgive me if I mispronounce it, but actually I think she just dropped. But okay, so we'll have Oliver Mitchell. Do you want to quickly say hello and introduce yourself?
Hi, how are you? Oliver Mitchell, longtime founder, operator, and investor for 15 plus years, primarily in deep tech. Also, author of the Startup Field Guide in the Age of Robots and AI. Book sales are always appreciated. So it's great to meet you, everybody.
Pleasure to have you. Absolutely. Next up, we have Winnie. You want to go next?
Thanks, Asher. This is Winnie with Ajinomoto Group Ventures. We're looking at all of the new applications for advanced materials, supporting our new business development work stream, working with our R&D in Japan. Good meeting you and looking forward to the presentations.
Absolutely. Pleasure to have you. Sergey, do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Hi, this is Sergey Fedit. I'm with Tel Venture Capital. We are one of the largest semiconductor equipment makers in the world, supplying fabs like TSMC and Intel the right tools to make chips. And we're looking at industrialization changes, AI technologies, and anything else that can help us make our tools smarter, faster, and better to manufacture semiconductors. Thank you.
Absolutely. Pleasure to have you. And then I think I covered everyone who's here for now, and I think a few more people will be filtering. I know David had issues with his audio, so hopefully he'll be back soon. And with that, I think we're gonna open up the floor. Let me allow share for everyone who's presenting. They just they changed the sharing they changed the share screen things, but I think we're gonna get started with, if it's okay with them, with Edlor. I believe Edlor is going to
I'm gonna go first.
yeah, if that's okay with you. If it pleases you.
I'm okay because I was expecting to be the third one. That's okay.
Yep,
No problem.
go right ahead. The show must go on, right? Go
The
ahead.
show must go on. I think most of the folks here on the panel have already seen Edlor from last time. Has anyone not seen Edlor yet here? Oh, okay, perfect. All right. So
Gotta keep it fresh.
very good. Let me quickly share my screen if I could.
There we go.
Is it on? Okay, and I need to, excuse me, I need to get rid of these Zoom menus here because they're always in the way. Hide floating. Okay, perfect. All right, so very quickly, I have so many different things that are open right now. I have to close them. And if I could go to, where is it? So you see, you caught me off guard.
Sorry
All right.
about that. Go for it.
So you're all familiar with service repair maintenance training. I am sure at any event at once or at any time you have either tried to repair something at home that you were looking for the documentation and the manuals, and you were kind of scratching your head and saying, how am I going to do this? You open up YouTube and nowadays and so on. But the documentation is always lacking. It's always basically either a PDF or basically in many cases, even now today, it's really in books. And we work with the military a lot. And I just wanted to kind of show you an example of, this is a live demo of the product. Many times, this is for Navy, a project that we did for NAVSEA at Port Hueneme in California. And like, they always work on documents such as what I'm showing you on the screen here. This is actually a arc valve portion of an engine, a transmission engine for the underway replenishment group at NAVSEA. So if they're looking for parts, they basically go to each one of these and then they go through these tables to figure out what the part numbers are. Well, wouldn't it be easier to do this instead? This is the same drawing that you're seeing on the screen, but now you can actually explode it into components. And let's say you need to know what this part is. You just click on it and it'll give you the information you need. It gives you the NSN. Information in here is customizable. You can put any information you want. And then more importantly, you can say, all right, I want this part and I want this part. Put it in a shopping cart and it'll automatically create your purchase order for you. Now, if you're in an industry that you have API connectivity to their inventory system or to their SAP or whatever, or Maximo, whatever that they're using, it will go in automatically place an order or find out how many they have in inventory and so on. So this has reduced the amount of time that the maintainers take to figure out parts by at least 70-80% in Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps at the moment that we're working with. Now, the other thing you could do is you could actually create procedures. You can take all the procedures that are in the documentation and you will structure them in such a way that you can see things better. And you can attach pictures and videos to it. Now, if the procedure is not in the manual, you can actually create a procedure that will become part of the system. So there's a lot more to this, and I don't want to go through the entire demo of the platform, but we can create work orders. We can create, we have a remote expert video chat. So if you're stuck, you can call in an expert that's online and they will be able to help you. Okay, with that, I'm going to jump into the presentation here. Please let me know if you're seeing the presentation.
Yeah, we see it.
Okay, good. So from service docs to interactive 3D. Now, three things no competitor combines. I mean, there are many companies that are doing aspects of what we do. You know, you can have a paper PDF A lot of more sophisticated industries, they have XML, they have converted their manuals into S1000D formats. We can ingest any of those, just paper, PDF, S1000D, CAD, and we'll take an unstructured data and we will structure it into the formats that I showed you. We are hardware neutral. You can put it on any tablet, AR glasses, desktop, whatever. We are air-gapped as well as online. So one of the projects that we have right now with the Marine Corps for their JLTV vehicles is that we put we've designed and built a server, a small server that they can put on these where they have access to AI without needing cloud or internet. So that's really an air gap, which is really, really important. Now, I've already discussed that. So humans need structure. So, you create folders. You create folders within files, within files. You label cabinets and you put dividers. Even augmented reality is really something that it will structure an unstructured data so that you could see things better and do and be more efficient. So you may say, well, you know what, we've done the digitization of our documents. Yes, but you know what, human structured versus machine structured is different. XML conversions and all S1000D formats or PDFs even they're all machine structured. The human structure is totally different, which I was explaining. So interactive 3D for technicians' hands. So the quicker that you can give this information to the person that actually holds tools in their hand, the quicker they can do the job. And a lot of times in let's say military applications, in austere situations, they need to get things done and be gone as quickly as possible. Work order automation, remote expert, and I've already gone through some of that with you. So from any source to interactive 3D, again, I've already shown you this, so I'm going to bypass this. Yeah, we've done analysis and 65% reduction in work order cycle time and 60% reduction in preventative maintenance time. The reason is preventative maintenance is every time that you're using Edlor in the field, you're gathering field data that otherwise you would not be able to capture. And all of this field data that you're gathering now become data for the AI. And AI that we've created would go through all of those, and if an event has happened before, it will flag it that this is a similar situation and it's happening again. So that kind of preventative and predictive type maintenance is possible without IoT or without any other sensors. Now, one of the biggest challenges that we've had is onboarding. In the past, we had to actually take a manual and break it apart and take the procedures out, and so the onboarding was a barrier to entry. Well, now with AI, our AI goes through the documentation, takes all the procedures out, and writes and does the onboarding in days. And that has actually reduced the entry, the barrier to entry for Edlor in any industry.
2-minute warning.
2-minute warning. I mean, we are in U.S. Navy, Air Force, Office of Naval Research, and CMS. Active pipelines. We have cyber phase 2s that we're finishing. We have non-cyber project contracts, and some StratFi help would be very useful that we're looking at right now. So some of the VCs that are here, and maybe we could discuss the StratFi approach. NIST, SCMMC compliance, and 6 sectors, 1 platform, defense, utilities, energy. So this could be a non-defense and commercial as well. Hardware neutral, I've already discussed that. The Edlor team, we've got ex-military PhDs and a very good team of technical people that we were doing AI before AI was even mainstream. So with that, the maintenance technical has a job to do. So we've already gone through that, and let's build it. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Javid. And just for the panelists, you could raise your hand to ask questions, and what we could do is, or you could blurt it out if you can't find the raise hand button, which is totally fine. All right, Marissa, go right ahead.
What do you use for your onboarding? Do you use something like Notebook ML?
So, sorry, say that again, please.
What do you use to onboard to get the manuals into your system?
What do we use?
Yeah.
To onboard. She's
Oh, okay.
asking about your onboarding process. What, like, do you use a program or? Yeah.
So no, it's obviously LLM and machine learning and a lot of things that we've done, Llama and you know, a lot of different LLMs that we have developed ourselves, and it will parse through the documentation, PDFs and things like that, and capture the information and then our backend with you know, the usual Node and so on. Does that answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And then, yeah, while people are thinking about their next question, I just wanted to, for those uninitiated in the audience, StratFi and TACFi are two U.S. Air Force programs that are generally match funding. So you need investor funds to get, you know, a lot of the times it's 1 for 1, dollar for TACFi, and then more complicated for StratFi. And if you want to learn more about it, I'm sure Javid would be happy to share with you, or I could also help brief if need be. But that's for those of the uninitiated in terms of StratFi and TACFi, which are really interesting programs. Han, go right ahead.
Oh, yeah, good presentation. Good to see you again. And could you tell us a little bit more about you know, competition, competitive landscaping? Like for example, like how to compare your product to, say, Augmenteer or like a Scope AR, things like that.
So Augmenteers and Scope the AR, and there are many companies that kind of do aspects of what Edlore does. By the way, our product is patented. The technology that we use to convert these documents from these exploded views from 2D to 3D is patented. So there is competition in there are competition in any industry that you go in. Augmenteer is a very good company, but they don't have the work order management system that Edlore has. They don't have the support video chat aspect of it. I'm not sure if they have now added it or not, but I don't know. But I mean, the Edlore product is an all-in-one. So we could go from essentially any air-gapped. I don't think like Augmenteer has an air-gapped hardware product. They're basically just service. We also have that as well. So there are aspects of what Edlore does that are other companies, like even Vuforia for PTC or others that have. And then there are homegrown systems, some more of the sophisticated industries. They have some homegrown products that works for them. So you know, but I guess Edlore is the most comprehensive platform that's out there right now.
Okay. Because I mean, I know some of the companies, and I think your company has more strength in like asset as well. I don't think they have anything, not much of an asset aspect of it. So that's something else we might want to, you know, yeah.
Correct.
Thank you.
Each one, they have taken many different approaches. This industry is so big, so vast that you could just take one niche and concentrate on that, and that's the $1 billion industry.
Yeah. Thank you.
Lindsay, last question.
Oh, Oh, and since the last question, how much capital has Edlor raised to date, and from whom, and
So
what terms?
Edlor has been self-funded. We are in revenue right now, and we have not raised any capital at all. Although we are looking for the next phases could be good to
How
do.
many years have you been in business, and what will 26, 27 sales look like?
We expect to be around 4 million by the end of the year. Last year we were at 2.5 million, 2 million, sorry. And the company was formed formally 2016, but we came to market in 2019, and then we hit COVID, and after
Okay.
that, the company started growing.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Javid. Make sure to leave your contact information in the chat. I think you already know the spiel. And we can, those who want to reach out can. I just want to make sure I got some of the people who joined recently to the panel. I want to make sure. And also, I think I might have skipped Samira. Samira, do you want to quickly introduce yourself? I don't know if she can. Okay. But and then some of the other.
Hi, Asher. It's fine. I actually had taken another call, so I was
Sure.
very happy that you forgot about me. So it was good. And I stayed silent. So I was actually double booked around that time. But
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm back. What would you like me to do? You guys have started with a new session?
Yeah. We already started with it. We just wanted to have you quickly introduce yourself, and there's a few other folks who also
Sure,
just
sure.
joined, so it's
Sure.
perfect.
Let me just turn my camera on.
We can see you.
Yeah. Yes. Hi, everyone. Yes, Samira Curtis. I run an advisory in venture fund, Raw Lab Ventures, and we're interested more in a growth stage, so seed and Series A. And before we help with founders hands-on to get an idea before we actually invest in them. So we have access to the global. So I'm a former diplomat as well as a computer science engineer. So our access is into at least 91 countries. That little bit about us. Deep tech and frontier tech is our focus.
That's awesome. Dali, do you want to go next? Morales? I know you also just joined recently. Okay. I don't think so. Okay. David Evans, do you want to also quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, I had apologies, was having audio issues to start. David Evans, managing partner, Centauro Ventures. We're a seed stage investment fund that's focused on AI first, AI native software opportunities.
Perfect. Pleasure to have you. All right. Now that we've had a quick intro session, we're gonna move forward with Terra Grit. Arthur, we're ready for you whenever you're ready to start sharing.
Perfect. Great to be here. Great to meet everybody. I guess I can start off with some of the questions that folks were asking at the end of last session. But our company name is TerraGrid. We've been around for about 1.5 years, close to 2 years now. We just raised a $25 million seed round with investors like General Catalyst, Intel Capital, Dell Technologies Ventures, NextEra, kind of across a lot of different industries. We primarily focus on working with CVCs because that gets us introductions into the BUs. And happy to kind of share more about the financial or fundraising piece later, but happy to jump into what we do. Myself, I'm head of strategy for TerraGrid. I come from a background of tech and finance. Prior to this, as well as with a bunch of the founding team here, I was at Siemens in the factory automation division, which was kind of partially where the idea for TerraGrid came from what we saw and experienced at Siemens. And then before that, I was at a family office in Asia looking at early stage companies in the region. So to jump into TerraGrid, what we saw kind of as the problem statement, what we saw while at Siemens was it's very complicated and difficult to innovate or make, better data driven decisions in these complex physical environments, like factories, like warehouses, like theme parks, like utility stations, right? Anytime you want to make a change, whether that's process or technology, it's very difficult. What we've seen is, and this is a little bit of what we were doing at Siemens was we were looking at innovation that could be applied for both Siemens internal factories and at customer factories as well. And so a lot of times, in order to try out a new technology, you have to segment out part of the production line. You have to like take away resources from the everyday operations in order to run this pilot to see the impact that it might make. And it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, and a lot of times these changes fail to show any kind of meaningful ROI. The stat that we've collected throughout all our conversations is that in general, like 19 out of 20 of these will fail. So only about 1 in 20 will succeed. Even companies or organizations with a pretty robust innovation process maybe are able to run 8 to 12 pilots a year. It just means, ultimately it takes multiple years and a lot of time and effort spent to find something that really moves the needle. And obviously, for the folks here, we know innovation matters, right? Because you can make not just incremental change, but kind of leaps and bounds. And this is something that we saw while we were at Siemens. Volkswagen implemented computer vision for quality inspection, and and it took them over 2 years, and I think, tens of millions of dollars to do so. But at the end of the day, they were able to shorten their production time for a single vehicle by a few seconds. Scaled out across all the production lines, all the facilities, it represented billions in productivity gained. And so with TeraGrit, we want to make this happen more often without the cost, the resource intensive cost of implementing in these complex physical environments. So some of the themes that we touch on as a company is the physical AI. But so our approach, and a lot of organizations, to try to find the one that works, they'll try to just do more pilots to try to hit on one that works. For us, we take an approach of trying to create a virtual layer where we model out the customer's existing physical environment, whether whether that's a factory or any other type of facility. And then based on that, they can then run experiments to answer a few questions of, one, whether something could be done in terms of feasibility, and number two, whether it should be done in terms of KPI impact. And so we try to answer those questions through our platform. I think something that some of you guys may note is that there's a lot of similarities with maybe some other tools out there like digital twin or other simulation software. What I'll say is, in general, we position ourselves to be, a little bit between the traditional tools and something that's a lot more flexible and easy to use. Bierdeckelrechnung, that's a phrase that a contact at Mercedes described us with, right? It's kind of a back of the beer coaster math. So we try to make it as easy to use, and we're kind of leveraging a combination of the power of spreadsheets, the flexibility of whiteboards. Of course, we're built, with AI so that we can accelerate the journey. So, whereas a lot of the traditional tools, you have to spend a lot of time in development. A lot of times when you make changes, they break. Usually it's an engineer only that is trained for, a number of months, if not years, to use the tool. And to set something up, it takes months, if not years, to do. For us, we're able to spin up a model for customers in 2 to 4 weeks. We try to focus on the usability of the platform to make it easy to use, where we have a couple of different interfaces for, more kind of the business-minded or more like shop floor technician folks. We have a drag and drop interface that makes it easy to use. They can enter, different parameters and data there. There's obviously like an advanced mode that looks a little bit like Node-RED for folks to configure advanced logic, do integrations, pull in data from data lakes, MES systems, ERP systems, whatever you'd like. And then most recently, we've released a prompt-based interface where folks can describe the workflows through natural language. And our platform will walk them through how to set up those models. So that prompt-based interface has gotten so good that for our internal modeling team, whenever we, after we send our forward deploy engineers to meet with the customers and do a site visit, they'll start the model with a prompt-based interface. It gets them to 80, 90% of the final model, and then they'll go into advanced mode to make tweaks.
1 minute warning.
Okay. So we've combined a few elements from digital twins, from simulation tools, from virtualizations, all under a single platform. I guess a couple points here. A part of the reason, and we're working, I think we're engaged with 84 Fortune 500 size companies. And we've kind of been doubling up on, we've doubled our 2025 revenue in Q1 of this year already, and we have double of that in bookings. So we're approaching 5 million ARR. Part of the reason why we're getting so much traction is we offer, especially for our large customers, the first model built out to them for free. So we commit to investing the resources of sending out forward deploy engineers, understanding their processes, and we only charge them when they want to run experiments or simulations. So it's low commitment. We get in through, we kind of sidestep the procurement, the long procurement cycles. And so that's why we've kind of had the traction we've had. That's probably time for me. Happy to jump into any questions, share a little bit more on different use cases that we've done. Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely. Marissa, go right ahead.
Okay, who's the founder?
Yeah, our main founder is our CEO, Sam Nagar. He previously started a company called Pixion that was around edge orchestration. So I think when everybody was moving their workloads to the cloud, he felt like, there could be better things that are deployed closer to the shop floor. And he started the company Pixion, former Microsoft engineer. And ultimately, he sold Pixion to Siemens for 480 million. And that is now being shipped out as the Siemens Industrial Edge product.
And could you narrow your target market? Just engineers seems like a pretty big market.
No, we've been targeting a lot of different industries. We've been working a lot with manufacturing, with supply chain, with a lot. I think that's part of the experimentation that we're doing is we're trying to work with different industries and figure out which ones work best with us. I think the only one that tends to be a little bit more difficult are hospitals, given the data privacy concerns.
Lindsay, you want to go?
Yeah.
We can't hear you.
So, hey, really, really interesting pitch. I kind of get it. What's your remaining funding need, given that you just raised 25 million bucks from GC?
Yeah, I mean, we're not, I guess a lot of the focuses that we have with meeting, other investors or CVCs is more for the kind of business unit introduction angle, right? We like to work with companies that see us from a strategic alignment side. And then I think what initially we weren't planning on raising a large seed round. Sam was planning to fund a lot of this out of his own pocket, but I think a lot of his prior investors wanted to join the kind of join the next journey. I think right now we're planning for our potential like next Series A round, which would be in that $100 million size. But we're mainly here to, see if there's any alignments on customers that we can meet. I think what our CEO likes to say is anybody that can bring us a customer or get some revenue for us, we're happy to include in our rounds or share some allocation for.
How recent was the 25 million?
I think the most recent CVC that joined M Ventures was just in March.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And so our run rate is pretty good. We are able to run, on our existing funding for a good, couple of years. But one of our priorities this year is on scaling out the business. From my perspective as head of strategy, one of the things that I'm trying to do is leverage channel partners. So we recently signed an agreement with Microsoft. We're trying to go through the co-sell process with both Microsoft and AWS. We've signed an agreement with Technologent, who provides a lot of services to large companies, to help us resell and potentially provide services for them as well.
Cool. Perfect. If there's no more questions, we can wrap it up. Last chance, last call.
One quick one from me. Sorry, I couldn't find
Go
the
for
hand
it.
button.
Perfect.
Could you share your experience in the semiconductor manufacturing industry? I know it's a very peculiar market because there's many equipment suppliers and it's a very heterogeneous in its nature.
Yeah, absolutely. So Intel is both an investor and a customer, although we're working more with some of their supporting facilities and less so, I guess, directly on the fab. So we are kind of working on expanding the number of use cases that we're tackling with them. But for some of them, it's looking at, preventative maintenance, scheduling, corrective maintenance. I think there's some stuff that we're doing with looking at how to upgrade some older facilities and the different and what the ROI might look like depending on the different action plans that they want to put together, and they can try those out on our platform.
Cool. Perfect.
Yeah. So I guess like not directly on the fab itself, but on supporting facilities like, ultra pure water filtration that's needed to be used in the fabs is one area
There is a
specifically.
startups competition for sustainability. I don't know if you were part of it before. That's ongoing. I'll share details with you later.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the presentation, Arthur. Make sure to leave your information so details can be shared in the chat, or at least in private chat. And I appreciate the presentation. Next up, we have Kins. Feel free to start sharing whenever you are ready.
Yeah, right here. Here we are. Okay, are we good?
Yep, go ahead.
Perfect. Okay, so hi everyone. Great to see you all. I'm Zvika. I'm the founder and CEO of Kins. And yeah, okay, so today we're going to talk about millions. And it's actually the millions that it costs factories to clean their production lines. Because it's about the direct cost, it's about the thousands of hours of downtime every year. And that's before we even talk about the environmental damage or the fact that clean isn't really clean. Really, clean isn't really clean, even when factories think that everything is fully clean. And due to that, every year, over 100 million people get sick, 150,000 people die, and companies lose 12 billion in recalls simply because clean isn't really clean. And environmentally, cleaning is a disaster. And just look at these annual numbers for waterways, for toxic chemicals, for CO2 emission. This is a huge issue. By the way, all the factories know it. They don't talk about it, but everybody's aware of it. So the world tried to make cleaning more efficient, but we asked a different question. We come from totally different paradigm. We ask, why clean at all? If cleaning is such a huge problem, why clean at all? And what we do is that for the first time ever, Kins replaces cleaning with coating. Instead of cleaning equipment after production, we prevent it from ever getting dirty. And we do it in 4 simple steps, as I'll show you. We do it by coating, producing, removing, and repeating. So before production begins, as you see here, our autonomous robot, which we call Hydra, it sprays a polymer coating on production surfaces. Ingredients never touch the equipment surface, only the coating. And after production, the coating is removed and the equipment is clean without cleaning. It's about 0 water, 0 chemicals, a fraction of the time and cost, and the removed materials that you've seen is biodegradable and environmentally safe. So you can move from batch to batch in no time and with no water, no chemicals, etc., etc. We are eliminating cleaning altogether. This is a systemic shift in how manufacturing works. The manufacturing arena never seen anything like it. Sorry. And our upcoming deployments are projected to save water, CO2 emissions, and chemical pollution. And look at these numbers. This is what we project that we can save 3 years going forward. We measure it continuously through our AI savings and impact platform. I can elaborate about it later. We completed successful pilots globally, proving the technology works in real production environments. We've done this in the food industry and the plastics industry. And we already achieved full food contact regulatory approval, which is the hardest barrier in the industry, are fully compliant with regulatory for food contact. And we are protected by a portfolio of granted patents. Everything that you've seen here, from the materials to the robotics to the technology, everything is protected. Some patents are already granted. The newer ones are still pending. So this creates a true blue ocean category. No one eliminates cleaning today. Everybody else just tries to optimize it. And now we are turning this deep tech breakthrough into industrial reality. We've signed our first commercial customer operating 20 factories in the plastics industry, and additional orders are in the works currently. And we see traction from all over the world, with global brands engaging us as they see immediately value, 50% reduction in cleaning costs and downtime, massive environmental impact, and dramatically improved food safety. We use the printer and ink business model. We sell hardware once, and then we get recurrent revenues from consumables, with an expected $20 million ARR in 2028. This thing here scales globally across food, pharma, plastics, cosmetics, and chemicals. This is a market worth $200 billion annually. I started the company with my father here, Dr. Ehud Furman, which has a PhD in physics. He was a C-level executive in tech companies. I myself have a bachelor degree in mechanical engineering with more than 25 years in the medical, defense, and semiconductor industries, both in the tech side and the business management side. And the rest of the team combines deep robotics and advanced material science. Today, we are raising $3 million to scale manufacturing, expand our commercial team, and meet growing demand. So, as I said, I'm Tzvika. I'm the founder and CEO. And today, with first customers, with the technology that we develop, with patents, with the growing demand that we see, we think that this new category can be on track to become an industry standard. Our business proven, check. Our environmental benefits are check. And we are go-to-market ready, also check. Kins is changing manufacturing, as you've seen. The world hasn't seen anything like this before, because we believe and companies believe that clean must be clean. Thank you very much.
Perfect. An, you had your hand up for a little bit. Go for it.
Yes, I do actually. Yeah, very interesting product. It is very, I guess, great and bold. I guess idea. Great. Just a couple of quick questions here. First of all, can you tell us a little bit about the strength of the material? I know it's a lot to do with material science, like your basically performance and also the cost. Okay, how would you compare to actual cleaning costs, right? So the whole factors. So could you comment those, please? Thank you. Good presentation, by the way.
Of course. So the price, as you mentioned correctly, the price has to do with comparing it to cleaning. And we compare to the equivalent cleaning in this scale. It doesn't matter if it's a small mixer or it's a huge conveyor. We are 50%, 50, we are 50% cheaper than the equivalent cleaning. This makes the ROI for our systems, within a year. Okay, the industry standard is like 3 to 4 years for capex for a one-time sale of hardware, and we make it within a year because we save so much money around the recurrent processes. So this is number one. To your other question about material strength, right? So as you've seen, our first customer comes from the plastics industry. This is a plastics compounding company, which they rotate, plastic pellets in 3,000 RPM, a very harsh environment. And we've proven throughout pilots, and this is why they purchased it, that our polymer can stand this very harsh environment, 3000 RPM, the heat, everything. So this is, just to prove by an example, the hardness of our material. And this was also proven in, less harsh environments in the food industry, meat, salads, bakery, confectionery. Yeah, so we've done a lot of pilots, so we are well aware of what we can withstand.
That's good. So you use your robot to apply, correct? Pretty much every
Yeah.
time, right?
Yes,
Okay,
the robot
thank you.
applies the material, the robot removes the material. This is fully autonomous. Yeah.
Got you. And so when you get a chance, I'd like to talk offline, please, and appreciate it. And aside from this, just a separate topic here. In case any of you guys are be at Select USA DC next week, I will be there, so I'd like to connect. Okay, anybody who is on the panel or who is on the audience or presenters, yeah, I'd like to connect. Okay, thank you.
Winnie, go ahead.
Thank you for the presentation. I just have one question about how you fit into the supply chain in the food application, for example. How do you work with the large incumbents like Ecolabs and players like that?
So Ecolab is a competitor. Ecolab is not, we're not collaborating with Ecolab. So Ecolab, what they do is what I've shown here. Ecolab tries to make cleaning more efficient. Ecolab makes sure you still clean, right? They reduce the water, they make greener cleaning materials, they try to make your cleaning more efficient. We are not playing in this game. We are in a blue ocean of our own. We are eliminating cleaning. We are making sure that you don't use water, you don't use chemicals, your downtime is minimal. So this is totally different solution and category.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect. We have time for one more question before we move forward. Last chance. Okay. I'll ask a very maybe I shouldn't, but I'll ask a quick one. The cost of the robot is that substantial in terms of like the companies that might be interested. I guess that'd be somewhat of a barrier to entry, no?
No, Asher,
Yeah.
this is what I answered to him.
Yeah.
What I said was that we sell the robotic system once and then we write the recurrent revenue from the polymer. But the ROI, this is what you're actually asking. What is the ROI for the robotic system?
Yeah.
And the ROI is 1 year. 1 year, because they're saving so much money for every process they make on the factory. And these factories, they clean today thousands of times, tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands times per year. So every time they reduce their cost with 50%, this is why they get back, the ROI for the robotic system so fast, comparable to other automatic systems in the industry that the ROI 3 to 4 years. This is common in the industry. So we are doing something much more dramatic as it's only 1 year.
That's awesome. Cool. Thank you so much for the presentation. And definitely leave your contact information.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Next up, we have Macrove, and presenting will be Matt, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct. All right, let me pull this up. All right, so my name is Matt Lubinsky. I am Director of Business Development at Macrove. Just a little bit of background on us. So we have a sister company that for the past 40 years has been installing material handling systems into big warehouses. So customers like Amazon, FedEx, Walmart. So think of those mile-long facilities on the side of the highway that you drive past. Anything that went in there to move or store materials, they installed.
Matt, just really quick, the screen is glitched.
Oh.
Like, I don't even know what I'm seeing.
We pull up again.
There you go. Perfect.
Sweet. Okay, cool. So about 3 years ago, the owner of that company saw that a lot of the customers were kind of warming up to having more robotics in these warehouses. So he started another company called Macrove Automation, which is who we are. And for the past 3 years, we've been building a software that basically acts as the brains of robotic systems in warehouses. We've been designing some concepts and then kind of building out the commercial and then defense strategy for launching these systems. So this video here will kind of show you what types of systems we're building. As you'll see, pretty much The systems are meant to replicate traditional warehousing processes like storing materials, retrieving them, finding certain orders within a facility, picking and kitting orders, which you'll see here shortly. But basically just fully automating these traditional processes in warehouses. And again, so we designed a software that basically acts as the brains of these systems. So we don't actually manufacture robots. We feel it's kind of oversaturated right now with OEMs. So what we do is we have a partner of robotics that we use. We go into a conversation with the customer of what are you trying to accomplish in your facility? What pain points do you have? We pick out which robot's best for this certain use case, design the system, install it, and then the software basically acts as the brains to integrate the robot's API with the end customer's WMS, ERP, whatever they're using. So given this is kind of a defense audience, we'll kind of look at the use case that we've been working on for Department of War. So we've been talking with a lot of Air Force and Army personnel, and what we hear is that a lot of the processes in their warehouses, their depots, even shipyards, are still very manual. There are people walking around a facility looking for certain parts, looking for certain items. The infrastructure used in these warehouses are huge. They're bulky. They're not flexible at all. It's really hard to minimize or grow the system as needed. And because it's very infrastructure heavy, it's very slow to deploy. A lot of these warehouses, if you're going to go in there, put in racks, put in different types of conveyors, that's a year plus long installation, which a lot of times they can't wait a year to have a warehouse ready. It needs to be ready immediately. So with basically our software and our systems, we've created a really easy way for warehouses to pop up very quickly, be flexible, and also be very cheap compared to traditional automation. So with the software, we call it Tekoa. There's a lot of different layers to it. We actually have an ERP and WMS that customers can use to track the business side and then warehousing. But then with that as well, we have a warehouse control system, which we're basically able to be the middleman between the robot's API and any end software. So we can use any robot out there. Again, with that, we have a bunch of different partners, but technically, any robot out there, as long as we're able to access the API to integrate with our software, we can use any robot in the market for any use case. So a lot of times we'll have customers come and say, hey, we need this weight capacity and this temperature and rugged because it's going to be outdoors. If we don't have that already in our Rolodex of robots, we can go and find it and then integrate it with the systems. Another thing that's come up a lot, especially with the Air Force and then some defense contractors we're working with, is data security. A lot don't want us to integrate fully with their end software and to see all of their data. So we can actually have an air-gapped system where it's almost just like a one-way request from the customer's platform, sending a task to the robot, and then we can give a thumbs up of, complete or failed for whatever reason. Another big thing we're doing with these systems that's very popular in defense is making them mobile. So we're able to actually build warehouses inside of shipping containers on top of flatbed trailers and move them from site to site, throw them in the back of a C-17, send it to a forward operating base, and basically having a working warehouse up within one day. Again, we are new within the past 3 years. This last probably 6 to 8 months has been our big sales push. But just to kind of show some validation of what we've been doing. So we have been awarded a Phase 1 SBIR through the U.S. Air Force. We're currently working with Joint Base Charleston on a Phase 2 or another kind of OTA type funded opportunity where they actually want one of these systems in a new warehouse on base. They've already signed off as being a sponsor. So right now it just comes up to, of course, the government opening up some money. But we're very far ahead with Joint Base Charleston, which is exciting. With Azbico, given they've been around for about 40 years, we've co-developed these systems alongside all of the engineers and on-site resources through that company. But then I've also deployed some of these mobile systems for Azbico-related jobs. So we do know that they work out in the field. We also have functional demo systems. So the video you saw, that's actually filmed at our technology center in Alpharetta, Georgia. But we have demo systems up and live and running. We have customers come and visit. If they want to throw some of their materials into the bins and see it actually moving through the whole process, we're able to do that. So we do have working systems live to show customers. And then lastly, we have got a great board of advisors, but specific to defense, we've got a former lieutenant general from the Air Force who's been advising us, not only with just helping with introductions, but also kind of helping to develop how these systems would look deployed on bases or forward operating bases contested logistics. He, has decades of experience of actually, needing to have supply chains around the world. So these systems have kind of developed through that feedback as well. So for a small raise that we're looking to do right now, we're looking to raise 1 million. That could be, through one investor or multiple. But this is really to kind of get us through this next probably 12 months as we kind of push for these defense pilots. So outside of Joint Base Charleston, who is wanting to do a full system, a lot in the Air Force and the Army have wanted to do pilot projects. We love them. It's a great way to get in, but again, it's just not a lot of revenue off of small systems. So this is kind of to help us get through the period of doing these smaller pilots, get to that phase 2 point with Joint Base Charleston, and then any other additional deployments that we have popping up this year. Again, we are speaking with Fort Hood in Texas. We're working with Fort Ogden in Utah. So there's a lot of great opportunities out there. This 1 million is just to kind of get those pilots built and get us through these next 12 months of a big sales push. Yeah. So any questions?
Perfect. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, let's open up the floor. Not all at the same time, though, everyone. I can ask while everyone else is getting warmed up. So in terms of cost savings, do you have any estimate on I don't know, mid-size or small-size warehouse? Because I guess it's just doing the salary mathematics, but what are some of the cost savings looking like? And then after that, we'll go.
Yeah, so it kind of depends on the size of the system in terms of kind of the ROI you're getting. But really, the biggest selling points with these types of systems is you have your upfront cost for the robots. We do robots as a service as well, but if you don't have to worry about CapEx. But if you're purchasing the robot, you have that one-time purchase. There is kind of the yearly software maintenance fees. But the ROI just on one robot versus an employee you're paying monthly every single year, that's where you see a lot of ROI. The other ROI is the system uptime. Robots don't need sick days, they don't need lunch breaks, they don't need bathroom breaks. We have redundancies in place where we have a backup robot, so while one's charging, another one's taking its place. Also a partner that creates this system that you can actually drive over a mat and it self-charges the robot as it moves. So again, these can technically run 24/7. So if you're looking at throughput, if you're looking at how many items you can move through a system, having the ability to run it almost indefinitely provides a big ROI.
Yeah, perfect. Han, you want to go?
Yes. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. You can hear me, right? I thought I was muted. Sorry. Sorry about that. Hey, Matt, good product, a good presentation, and thank you for that. Just a quick question and small comment actually as well. So first, could you tell us a little bit about your competitive landscape, around your product, your company? Because I know, some companies have them, something similar, like Northrop, those billion-dollar companies. And so maybe that one. And then my comment here, well, why don't we try that first? Then I'll give you my comment on something.
Yeah, sure. So from the competitive landscape, what we're kind of going up against the most right now is types of robotic systems that have been around for a while. ASRS is one that always pops up with the customers kind of looking to. But these are giant structures that you're building inside of a warehouse. Where we kind of come in is with these very simple designs. It's racks, it's bins, it's robots. So the ability to kind of have this flexible growth of a system or reduction, and also from a price point, we'll go in and talk with small and medium-sized warehouses. We're really not trying to only do the $1 million+ jobs like a lot of competitors are. We're really wanting to make automation accessible for any size warehouse.
Okay, got it. And this is a small thought that I have. You've been working, trying to work with, or have been already working with some other industries, you could work with the Palantirs or Anduril, those guys as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have been working with two the major defense contractors out there. Again, this is kind of like a pre-proposal phase type conversations, but yeah, especially in a lot of their, munitions, aerospace type facilities, there's a big opportunity for us to kind of automate kitting together basically all the parts needed for an assembly cell.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just like Palantir, they're more software driven side of it, so we complement well with your products. That's why I said that.
That as well, absolutely, yeah.
I work with
And
them.
again, given that we kind of have our own proprietary software, we are able to kind of open it up and integrate with other softwares out there. So we're not closed off. You only got to use us. We can absolutely integrate with other softwares like a Palantir.
Right, great. Thank you.
Yep.
Lindsay,
Yep.
you're up next.
Yeah. Hey, appreciate it. What's the repeatable wedge in your mind? On the website, you got quite a few different categories, and they seem dissimilar. So, yeah.
Is that in terms of the markets?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, when we first started this, our traditional customers with that sister company were kind of like your e-commerce 3PL type of customers. That was the lowest hanging fruit for us. That's kind of how we started all this. Defense came along. We have our president and owner worked at L3 for a long time, so he has a history in the defense. And then, of course, bringing on this former lieutenant general, we kind of saw this opening for the defense industry. So are you asking basically which market do you see us having the most consistent jobs for?
Yeah, priority one, most consistent, repeatable wedge. Like, where do you, because how much money are you raising?
1 million.
Yeah, I assume it takes more than $1 million to be fully successful.
Yeah, so we actually are looking at a larger raise, given that this group is kind of defense specific. This is kind of like that minimum we're looking for our defense related segment. Overall, we wanted to raise about 5 million. That will cover the additional markets. Yeah. To answer your question, the lowest hanging fruit for us, the biggest market is going to be traditional warehousing, and basically taking your warehouse that uses conveyors and people to move things and then automating it through these robotic systems.
Matt, and just as a quick follow-up, and I know this might not be quick, but what is the actual company structure? Because you just said, hey, we're looking for $1 million for defense, but we're actually, the whole initial fundraising will be 5 million. Is there something interesting about the structure that we should know about?
So again, I think the defense sector for us has been the hottest at the moment. That's kind of where this 1 million came from our president. Is he really sees that we're close with these phase 2 SBIRs, these other OTA opportunities. So the 1 million he wanted to put in there is like, defense related. That's what I think we need for these next 12 months to get these contracts written. The 5 is because we're also at the same time speaking with pharmaceutical companies. We're speaking with 3PLs that do like snack food in warehouses that we have proposals out for as well. That's where we kind of, the larger 5 is to kind of help us get through those pilot programs as well. I hope that answers your question.
Well, I just wonder, is there any relationship to the Asbeco division or like the other company?
Same ownership, 2 separate entities. The 5 would just specifically be for the Macrobay automation, not including the Asbeco related business. But we do use Asbeco for the installation job. So, if we have a job pop up, we utilize Asbeco employees to actually do the install of it. Macrobay automation does the design and software integration for the job.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Matt, that's all the time we have. I really appreciate the pitch. Make sure to leave your contact information.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone.
Yep, absolutely. And so now we are moving from session 1 to session 2. I appreciate all of the panelists and the companies that presented in session 1. If you're a panelist that was on for session 1, feel free to stay for session 2. The more the merrier. We will not kick you off, I promise. With that, we're running a little bit short on time. So we're going to keep things moving. I hope that's okay with everyone on the panel. What we will do is that when you ask a question, if you want to quickly introduce yourself so I can incentivize more questions, I'm happy to have that for session 2. So if you do ask a question, feel free to to tell them a little bit about your VC and or company or government agency, whatever it might be. With that, we'll get going with Zenadrone. I believe Sam will be presenting first. We can't hear you. Okay.
Can you hear me now? Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi is a little spotty in the office today, so do apologize. Can you at least see the screen?
Yep.
All right, good deal. Yeah, so for time's sake, I'll jump right in. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sam Chen, and as Asher said, I am with Zenadrone. We basically develop a full range of autonomous drone systems across industries like defense, infrastructure inspection, logistics, really covering everything from, outdoor surveying to security and monitoring. But for today, we're going to be focusing specifically on how we're applying that technology to warehouse environments. So basically solving one of the largest gaps, I would say, in logistics, which is real-time inventory visibility. So the problem. So if you look at how most warehouses operate today, inventory tracking is still largely manual. Teams are doing cycle counts either after hours or pausing operations, and even then, it's really not all that accurate. So at any given time, there's usually not a complete real-time picture of what's actually going on in the warehouse. So why does this matter? This becomes even more important at scale, and especially in defense logistics environments, in places like DLA-supported facilities. Inventory accuracy really directly ties to mission readiness, right? So even small gaps in the visibility can lead to delays or downstream issues, especially when you're dealing with larger facilities and high-value assets. So our solution, which is one of our solutions, is the IQ Nano. It's an autonomous indoor drone designed specifically for warehouse environments. It operates without GPS, can navigate through the facility on its own, and continuously scans the inventory. So it's real, true, live inventory. The key is here that it can actually work alongside the facility on its own and people within it without needing to shut down any of the operations. So it does have your standard object avoidance, but it also has machine learning to recognize if you have even signage hanging from the ceiling or workers and humans in the same space. So as the drone scans and kind of how it works, that data gets processed and pushed into existing systems like WMS or ERP platforms, so teams can actually use it. Instead of doing periodic counts, you now have continuous visibility. This actually leads to better accuracy, less manual work, and overall more efficient operations. And so to close, commercially, we deliver this through our DOS model, the drone as a service model. What we do is basically we provide a solution that doesn't have a heavy upfront investment. So we handle the deployment, maintenance, and scaling across the facilities. And really at the end of the day, as warehouses kind of get more complex and obviously later labor gets tighter, the autonomy becomes less of a nice to have and luxury feature, and we've seen it more as a necessity in the current space. So that's kind of where we fit in, and happy to take questions at this time. Hope that was fast enough for you, Asher.
That was very fast.
Yeah.
All right, sure. Opening up the floor.
There we go.
Han, go for it.
Sure. Good presentation, Sam. Oh, by the way, I guess I'm supposed to tell who I am, right? Han Ko, a company called USACO Group, or a venture capital company based out of USA, and we are unique in a way that we have an office all the way in Seoul, South Korea, and we work with the European market as well. So we are actually investing in multiple industries, including deep tech. So anyway, yeah, you have a good solution. So I'm trying to gather your presentation and have better understanding of it. So you're targeting military logistics automation side of it. Is
Yes.
that
Correct.
okay? Is it correct? Okay. And then compared to like Andro and Palantir, I guess this name come up a lot today. So you're more positioned in a way that like a smaller, earlier stage. Is that how you compare?
I would say, commercially, we have a pretty good presence. We are trying to break into the defense, space a lot more. We also have another drone, which isn't showcased here today, but it is the Zenadrone 1000, and that's our heavy lift, long range drone. So it's about 12 feet by 7 feet, and that one's used we actually went a SBIR phase 1 with that one for blood delivery to the battlefield. So
Okay.
there's a couple different solutions here, but yeah.
Oh, okay. So you already pushed it well in other drone industry, but try to break into military side of it. Is that what you're trying to do?
Absolutely. Yeah. We've been
Oh,
approached by large I can't name them, but large companies and specific auto manufacturers here in the US. So,
Okay, gotcha. Are you where are you guys based out of?
we're technically based out of Phoenix, Arizona, Mesa, really, which is a little bit outside of that. But we have offices all over the world. We had 20 acquisitions last year of land surveying companies, so that really helped us spread our reach a lot better. But you can find us also in Ireland, England, Taiwan, UAE, Dubai. So yeah, we're kind of
Okay.
everywhere.
Okay. All right. Well, if possible, let's have a chat later. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Lindsay, I think I saw your hand
Yeah,
up. If you
I'm sorry. I'm going to ask this thing. Can you tell me a little bit about the financing background of your company, and what you're looking for today from us?
Honestly, any potential, I think this could be a conversation on the side with our investor relations as well. Really just here to showcase our one of our capabilities, but also, I mean, we're always looking for support, right? So, we've been growing. Last year was a significant growth. I think we just listed our financials, I think today. And so,
So you're a public
yeah,
company?
yeah, we're actually traded on the NASDAQ, I think under Zena is what it should
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Zenatech.
Yes, that is us.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Sure. Do we have time for one more question? Anyone wants to ask? I have one if no one else has, but I don't want to hog it. I don't want to hog everything, guys. All right, fine. I'll go for it. So, like, has the warehouse drone, has it been deployed, or is it like what's the TRL level?
Yeah, so we're currently in a lot of pilot programs right now because how we kind of do it is we come out and we do a warehouse analysis and figure out kind of how we're going to program it to your warehouse. So right now we're working with various companies, even in South America, to kind of do this. So we are closing up on a pretty large company, and until it happens, I'm not going to name it, but it's on the way. So yeah, we're currently pushing this one pretty heavily, and it's doing pretty well.
Sure. Awesome. And I
Yeah,
guess if
thank you.
folks would want to get in touch with you, they should if they want to do a pilot, they should probably is
Absolutely.
that
Yeah,
something
we
that's
come out and do
open?
a free demo. Yeah. So, and we'll go out there, scan, I mean, a bay 20 times, collect that data, compare it to your data, and integrate from there. So,
Oh, that's really cool.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the presentation, Sam.
Yeah. Thank you guys for the time.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Next up, we have Navier. And I think Evan will be presenting, if I'm not mistaken.
Actually, me. It's Cameron, unfortunately.
Okay. No, you're good. Feel free to share when you're ready.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry, I thought
Hey.
not really sharing on your end. Just give me one sec to pull it up.
Yep. Take your time. You're good.
Sorry about that. All right. Are you all able to see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, great. Great. So we are Navier AI. We are building the future of the autonomous engineering world. Our product is really centered around the development and design of high precision, high complexity machines like aircrafts, satellites, and drones. And we're building the software that will enable engineers to build this more autonomously and faster. Sorry, just give me one moment here. It seems like my computer's extremely laggy for some reason.
If you want, we can share for you. If that
Yeah,
changes
that might be
anything.
easier. That'd be great if you don't mind.
Okay. Brian, whenever you're ready. There we go.
Great, thank you. I'm happy to go to the next slide. Yeah, so as mentioned, we are building this for the design of complex systems like satellites, aircraft, missiles, drones. Our clients are primarily in the aerospace and defense community today. We also do sell to companies outside of that in automotive and other industrials, but we're primarily aerospace engineers of the company, and we're focused on solving the hard aerospace problems. So our customers typically come to us with the hardest problems that take the most amount of engineering effort, the human in the loop effort on their end. And we convert those to procedures into automated pipelines that agents can run through and use real engineering software like CFD simulations, FEA simulations, and other types of engineering physical simulations to validate and to understand and to iterate through. These complex systems take years to design today. With agents, we can bring this down to a much shorter amount of time. We're currently focused on some very high complexity, high human touch applications, but we expect this to expand similar to how LLMs expanded in the software engineering industry to any part of the engineering domain. Next slide. One example of a way in which we've worked with companies is focusing on sweeps of engineering simulations. So we had one client who would do engineering sweeps to understand a new geometry and to bring that geometry from concepts to something that's ready to go into their control system design. That would take them about 6 weeks with an engineer, actually several engineers in the loop on this, to configure the CFD simulations, run the CFD simulations, and then translate that to a report, gather the insights and really convert that to something that they can use and make actions on. And we can now do this overnight. So provide the same sort of direction to an engineer, to an engineering agent. And this agent goes off, spins up a ton of different simulations in parallel, runs them all together, ranks them after the fact, and gathers the insights for the engineers. So now this engineer gets to come back the next day and really deeply understand whether or not this geometry change or this update to their aircraft moves them in the right direction. We now enable these companies to move much faster in these engineering iterations and to explore many more concepts. So we're helping companies get to more optimal states by doing more analysis and running more simulations. And I think of one more slide here. So, by 2029, we believe that every product will be shipped by agents. I think we're already seeing this in the software engineering world, especially 2026. 2026 really is the year of agents taking over the software engineering industry. We're still a bit away from that in the engineering world, in the hardware engineering world, but we're the company building the software and building the tools, both the simulation software, we're building simulation software designed for agents and agents designed to run the simulation software and understand the physical world. So by 2029, I don't think it's too controversial to say that we believe a lot of the engineering, a lot of the hardware engineering of complex products is going to be done by agents. And that is Navier.
Perfect. All right. Opening up the floor for questions. Lindsay, go right ahead.
Well, for those of you who've been with me all afternoon, I'm going to ask the traditional questions. So, can you talk about what the financing history of your company has been and what you're looking for from right now?
Yeah. So we went through Y Combinator in winter 24. So about 2 years ago, we raised a seed round out of that. GV and HCVC were our two biggest checks. Raised about $5.5 million. We are going to be raising another round in the next few months. Don't have a specific target at the moment for that, but stay tuned, and we're happy to share more as we finalize some of our fundraising plans.
Okay.
All right, Gus, go right ahead.
Hey, Cameron, Gus with Boost VC here. Just one quick question. So you mentioned you just raised 5.5 million, or not just, but you raised it in the seed. I guess what have been like the major like 2 or 3 milestones since then that you have kind of pushed towards with this upcoming raise?
Yeah, so we've pushed on two areas on the commercial side. One is getting this in the hands of startups. There's a huge ecosystem of defense tech startups that are coming up, and we want to be the new engineering tool that they go to. These companies in particular are very eager to try new tools, or really eager to try, the next thing that is driven by AI. They're seeing the benefits of AI on their software engineering teams and not seeing it yet on the hardware side. And we're making that
Are they
happen for
pretty
them on the
willing to
hardware side.
pay for solutions like this? Like if they're
Yeah.
kind of still early stage? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're willing to pay for it. I think the biggest issue, just to maybe touch on one of the hardest parts commercially for this, is dealing with the incumbents on the simulation side. There's our hypothesis is that the incumbents will try to build their own agents, but they won't be able to fully automate Ansys Fluent, because Ansys Fluent was fundamentally designed with a GUI for humans in the loop. So our product is really replacing Ansys Fluent with simulation software designed for agents. And that's going to be a hard thing to rip out of a company that has established workflows. But that's also something that the second big milestone has been on the commercial side, getting the inroads and establishing the groundwork for our work with enterprise contracts. So we're working, starting some early work with some enterprises now to supplement some of their current workflows on these traditional older technologies, with the eventual goal of ripping out, the large contracts they have with Ansys and MATLAB and all these other big customers or companies rather.
Gotcha. Awesome. Thank you.
We have time for maybe one more question if someone wants to. Otherwise, 3, 2, 1. Okay, Cameron, thank you so much for the presentation. Feel free to leave your contact information in the chat. Yeah, I think there'll be some follow-ups.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Next up, and the last presentation, I believe we have Amphora Labs.
Hey guys. Asher, nice to see you again. You sound like Norm Macdonald, right? The comedian.
Oh, nice. I'll take it.
I'm
I'll
not
take what I
joking.
can.
I'm not joking. I'm like, my gosh, I wasn't paying attention to the other guys, and I was like, that's cool. I'll be pretty quick today if I've got another meeting popping up here. The name of the company is Amphora, guys. We are a machine learning AI company, but we are very focused on materials discovery and materials development. What does that mean? Well, there's materials everywhere on the planet, everything from biodegradable materials to alloys to various coatings, paints, epoxies. We are very focused on the defense network, and I'll tell you why that's important, but we're also focused on dual use within that space. So I would call us a deep tech / defense tech based entity. We have decided to go after specifically the marine coatings to start with. That's our wedge into the industry. That being said, we are speaking with the Exxons and a variety of other groups outside the defense industry to try and look at other possible projects. One, as an example, would be hypersonics coatings for missiles and high-speed rockets. It's sort of an oddball space. My team and I, we come out of the biotech sector originally, so 30 years in biotech. I developed my last company is called Gain Therapeutics. It's on NASDAQ, GANX. And we developed an AI system that has developed an allosterically binding Parkinson's drug. It's going into phase 2. So have a fair amount of experience in that space, but we're taking that experience and applying that into the material space, which is a little bit more arcane, to be honest. There's not a lot of investment that's got into this space over the last 50 years. We manufacture things the same way we always have, large 100,000 to 1,000,000 square foot facilities, etc. So we decided to apply everything we've learned, the new tools on the ML side, into this particular sector. The difference between us and some of our competitors, I wouldn't even call them competitors. Lila is probably the big boy on the block out of Boston. They raised 400, 500 million bucks here relatively recently. They are looking at creating the front end discovery component. So generative AI coming up with new compounds, new materials, and the formulations thereof. We're on the other end of the spectrum because the feedback we've received from Dow and Sherwin-Williams and Lockheed Martin and all the other folks out there we've been speaking with is really around, can you actually manufacture what you discover? And that's a different question. And so synthesis of the compounds in large-scale manufacturing recipes is sort of what we're focused on. That's our bread and butter, and that's how we built the system. We still generate intellectual property, but our main focus is can we manufacture these compounds? So the brain of this is we use a neurosymbolic knowledge graph. That's AI speak for something that uses a fair amount of mathematics in how we look at things. We generate materials, and then most importantly, we have a series of filters within our proprietary system where we look at, can we get composition of matter patents? Can we manufacture this? What is the scale up? What does the cost of goods look like, et cetera? And that's what we're doing for our partners. The architecture was built by somebody that built the architecture for another public company called Recursion Pharmaceuticals. So it's relatively similar to that in that we're looking at a variety of different areas and we're integrating the manufacturing components along with the discovery components. But again, the primary filter for us is, can we synthesize these materials? So we're focusing initially on coating some polymers. I'm a biologist by training, but have learned a fair amount about this particular chemical space and physics space. The reason we're going after these is because really nobody is doing well within a polymer space. The bigger companies are really going after more of the alloys and crystalline structures. We're going after very, very large molecules and lattices of molecules, which are called polymers. And that applies everywhere. I mean, it applies in paints, it applies in epoxies, it applies in coatings, it applies in biodegradable materials, you name it, it's all over the map. So what we're looking at here is our metrics is it takes us roughly 3 months to go from, hey, I've got a crazy idea, either ours or a partner's, to the time we can actually deliver a lab in the loop, so tested in the physical world coming out of our system to a particular partner. We do have one collaboration today with the largest shipbuilder in the U.S. It's a military defense contractor. They make all the aircraft carriers and nuclear subs. And we're working on creating a new epoxy that would go on the outside of these ships. Sounds like a relatively small market. It is not a small market for the U.S. Navy to paint all of these ships with something that's anti-corrosive and anti-fouling. Anti-fouling means no barnacles, that kind of biological material that likes to stick to the hulls and reduce the efficiencies of these ships. We're also talking to a variety of USV contractors. I don't know if you guys follow the defense tech space, but there's literally dozens and dozens of these unmanned surface vessels that are popping up, very similar to the drone world, 5 years ago. So all of these folks that we're talking to are looking for various types of coatings to go on the outside of their hulls in order to maximize their length at sea. And that's the other reason that we're speaking with Exxon and Chevron, Shell, those guys, because believe it or not, they have the same exact needs in their ocean-borne oil rigs. So very interesting place, lots of capital, have the deal in place. We don't sell the software. It's not a SaaS system. And we do about 50% of our own internal projects, which will be spun out, and 50% of these we intend to have on the R&D side for collaborators. I'm not going to go through this. This is kind of a nice graph of kind of where we position ourselves, those other bubbles. Asher, I'm sure, is more than willing to pass this around to you guys. You can kind of see how we're looking at ourselves within this particular matrix. Again, Lila, some of the guys are really on the front end creating really cool new compounds. We can do that, but again, our focus is, can we actually make those compounds? Team, you got myself, Jeff, our CTO is Brittany Vieira. She was the one at Recursion. Alex Bochus. We have 2 ex-Navy SEAL captains, both Wes Spence and Christian Dunbar. They both are very entrenched into the defense network, which is where we're getting a lot of our deals. And then Jepson Taylor, if you look him up, he's a very advanced AI researcher, worked for Data Robot and a variety of other groups, and basically keeps us in line with what is the state-of-the-art technology that we're using. We have a fairly large team for having no capital at this stage of the game. So a lot of believers in what we're doing. And that's it.
Awesome. Let's open up the floor for questions. Marissa, did you unmuted?
Yes. So are you manufacturing polymers that exist, or are you making new polymers?
We're doing both. We're doing both. So the low-hanging fruit is really with groups like BASF and Dow, they have a high interest in the polymer, Eastman as well. They're not necessarily looking for brand new polymers. What they're looking for is enhanced or improved synthesis processes within there. So we are working hand in hand with them, and we do not have deals. Let me point it out. We have a deal with the defense contractor, the shipbuilder, but we don't have deals. But we have spent the last year basically talking to everybody to try and get a feel as to how we would position the company. So new polymers are great. 2DPA1 as an example from graphene is something that we've built a lot of analogs around that we'll probably go out and partner. But again, internally, we're focused on polymers specific to coatings initially, and specifically marine coatings to start with. We are talking to a group that has an interest in biodegradable materials, which could also be polymers. I'm not keen to go into that space with our own capital, but if the partner wants to team up, we're happy to go down that road.
Thank you.
We have time for a few more questions if anyone wants. Otherwise, I have a few.
Yeah, can I ask a question here?
Go for it.
Hi, my name is Sergey. I'm with Televenture Capital. We're an investment arm of Tokyo Electron, a global leader in semiconductor and display production equipment. In the world of Industry 4.0, we're looking for deep tech breakthroughs that redefine manufacturing for semiconductors. So my question is, does your technology have any sustainability implications for semiconductor industry and beyond? I was just thinking like filter membranes, other things like that, that could tie it into more advanced kind of technologies.
It's applicable in that area. The problem is the overall materials market's $27 trillion. And the reality for us as a 8-person company at this stage of the game is we decided to focus on fairly serendipitously polymers because we have expertise in-house, but also specifically in the marine coatings. With respect to semiconductors, organic photovoltaics, all of that realm of things, we can definitely go into that space. The issue is we don't have the bandwidth right now without capital to build a module for that particular industry, but we intend to go there eventually. But again, first, I'd like to get our revenue up to where we're minimally self-sustaining, that we can actually create our own projects and then spin those projects out.
A follow-up question as well. I used to work in a startup that actually develops materials for display coatings. So do you plan, or do you maybe today already do partner with other companies, startups, or I heard big ones, but I'm specifically thinking of smaller companies that are struggling in development of new materials.
Yeah, actually today we just inked a deal with MIT and a spin out from that. I can't really talk about it yet, but they're heavily focused in, I would say, the organic photovoltaic / solar in general, as far as creating coatings for the surface of solar panels to protect them from future meteorites and things like that. This is a space-related company. And so all those things are possible. The reality is we have to be relatively focused as a tiny company, right?
Yeah.
I would say in a year, we would probably have 4 or 5 projects. You don't want to put capital into a company that's all over the place. So, it's a mix of, our own projects mixed with which is what we'll raise capital for. And then the rest of it is, gathering intelligence and expertise from partnering with groups that know what they're doing in specific spaces.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeff.
No worries. Thank you.
Perfect. We have time for one last question if anyone has. Otherwise, I can get going with my slew of questions. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have too many. Just if you want to go over like some of the more prominent, I know that there's like a lot of different potential use cases, but just like beyond foul, like just the fouling use case, for example, can that also apply to municipal water treatment?
Oh yeah, it's a coating basically, right? So it's a polymer
Yeah.
coating you put on. It has to be adhesive. There's a variety of parameters in it, but the reality is, it can be used on oil rigs. It can be used on ships. It can be used on private ships. Carnival cruises can be used in the water treatment area. There's a whole slew of different places that it can play. It is also applicable in an area that we're exploring in the medical device side of the equation.
Sure.
Because again, antibiotic related stents and things that don't stick inside of human bodies, that's kind of mild world. That's actually a gigantic market, but again, very niche. And the problem is that the time it takes, I love mild industry to some extent, but it takes years to get, even if you develop the product, get it approved, to get it all the way through, it's 5 years on the device side on a good day, and it's probably 10 years on the drug side. So the ROI is just absolutely horrendous, in my opinion. And I come out of the biotech industry, which is why we decided to focus initially on the material side. But again, the platform that we built, the foundational work, the physics that we're using with respect to the chemistry heavily, we're using heat related and quantum related components in that. I can't really go into that detail, but the reality is it will be applicable across drug discovery. It'll be applicable across semiconductors. All of that's functional. But again, for us, I'm not trying to raise a ton of capital. We've self-funded for almost 18 months, and now we're at the point where we'll have revenue by year end. I don't think the revenue is going to be high enough to fund the company, so I'm going to have to bridge with a small round now, and then we'll do another round, sometime this time next year, I would guess, a true seed round instead of pre-seed.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and it seems pretty promising because I know fouling is a huge issue across a lot of different and just the ships, like you said, peeling off barnacles. I think there's some enlisted man right now who would be wishing that they had your solution.
The carbon footprint, if you're into that stuff, and the savings on fuel is enormous. You'd be surprised at how, a few barnacles on a hull, how that really impacts, when you're burning, hundreds and thousands of gallons a year. We looked at a project on a diesel fuel side, and believe it or not, that's a $50 billion market just for the military. And that market, you have to rotate diesel fuel all the time because it goes bad. But the same problem with diesel fuel, and that it gets bacteria and growth and it doesn't work anymore. It goes bad after, about a year. If you can prolong that life for 2, 3, 4 years with another ingredient, and that's kind of what we're looking at, that's huge money. It's not sexy money. We're not making cool drones or anything or any real special stuff, but it's really ancillary to what all these really neat companies are, from Anduril to Pal. All these guys are just going crazy making neat stuff. We just happen to be the guys that help supply part of those components, to make those interesting new toys that everybody's building.
Exactly. That's awesome. Thank you so much for the presentation. Really, really, really enjoyed it. Feel free to leave your contact info. We'll also, like you said, we'll circulate the deck as well, hopefully, so that folks will be able to take a look when they can. With
Everybody can go to our website's www.amphoraLabs.io if you want to get there. I think my phone numbers or my email stuff's in there, but you can get to me that way, or you can Asher's. I'm sure we'll kick over whatever you want. Asher/Norm Macdonald.
Exactly.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Thank you for the presentation, and thank you for everyone for joining. That is the last presentation of today. So thank you for everyone who presented, Jeff, and everyone else, and thank you to all the panelists who joined. And have a great rest of your day. And I appreciate the participation.
Thanks, Asher.
Yep. Have a good one.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. Bye bye now.